marked off for Stratocaster, and I'm going to put in some different model pickups for it, for a different tone that I'm trying to get out of it. So I'm going to proceed to remove the pickguard. Don't remove these two here because your switch will actually fall through, so just the outer perimeter wood screws. Okay, now that you're done, move your box of screws out of the way. You're going to be lifting the pickguard up, and just lift it up carefully. Just pull it up on one side, and as you hold it up, what you're going to do is get your cloth and put it over the guitar so the switch doesn't scratch. So these are pre-wired that I did, but I like putting little terminals to hold everything nice and snug and get rid of all the excess wire. Here it is just, like, to me, I think a little bit way too much. You got a couple ground wires connected here from the jack. You got your hot wire and the ground wire. Sometimes when you're unsoldering from potentiometers and stuff, you need to use a little bit higher temperature because the potentiometers can be a big heat sink. Now the wire I'm disconnecting here is the hot wire from the actual jack coming from this area over here. Now I'm going to work on the pickguard. I'm going to move the guitar so you don't have a chance of dropping anything on it or soldering it or anything. So, okay, here's your basic Stratocaster pickguard. And this tone control here actually works the middle pickup. This middle tone control actually works the neck pickup. And this is the master volume for all three pickups. Now I'm going to remove the three ground wires from all three pickups. Okay, now a very important thing that you want to do. Many of these switches are different. You know, one guitar may have one switch, another guitar, this is a 5-way. So now when the switch is in the bridge position, when it's down in this position, it works this pickup. When it's in the middle, it works this pickup. And when the switch is here, it works this pickup. When it's in, there's a second position, which is called the 2-4, and that's, these two pickups are being worked together in parallel. They're not in series, they're actually in parallel. And then in this fourth position, it's the middle and neck pickup in parallel with each other. Your sweeper is right here, your main contact from these opposite corners. This one blade connects all the way across all positions. So you make a little line like for your switch, and you make here, 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 and here. These are your 2 and 4 positions over here. Here's your 4 contacts. And then on this side, if you notice, the next position is on this side over here. So you want to bring this one to the left of the first connection. So these are spaced over a little bit. So now this connection here is connected to here. So these are connected directly across here. Okay, now when you're looking at this first wire, you're going to see that this wire connected here, that's going to be your bridge position. So you make it a B for that. The yellow wire is coming from the second contact. So here, this is going to be your middle or yellow. You can put the M or Y for middle. And then your neck position, you can see here, is connected to the third. So here's your neck position. So that's how it works. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to pull out these other 3 pickups, and we're going to put new pickups in this instrument. Okay, now the pickups are actually disconnected from the switching thing. Now what you want to do is turn your pickguard over, get your wire straight out, and then what I will often do is just, hand loosen the actual pickups, let them drop. Now what I do is I just hold them down, make sure they're all popped out, and carefully lift the pickguard up, and then just remove these pickups. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to hook up the pickguard. Okay, now what we're going to do is replace the pickups in here. And what I like doing is putting all the pickups in at one time, And then I do all the wire. I don't wire one at a time because I like getting everything cut, and I do all the strapping. Or what I'll do on this, since I'm going to be putting in a custom set, I'm going to tape everything so it'll look real clean and bring all the wires up. And then what you do is you check continuity between the terminal to the wire, and then you find out which one's a neck or bridge. So we'll do that. Okay, there's your pickups all installed. Now what I'm going to do is start hooking everything up. So you make sure all the wires are, laying down right, and you keep them straight. Okay, and then I give it a nice 90-degree turn. Separate the hot wires from the ground wires. Now what I'm going to do is get a point where I'm going to cut it. I'm going to cut all the 3 ground wires. Okay, now what I do, let it cool down a little bit, and I hold them pretty much all close together. And what I'm going to do is proceed to solder them all down like that. Usually when you pull your wires out, you're going to have 3 different lengths if all the wires are cut the same. And what you're going to see, a short wire, a medium, and then your longer wire. So what you're going to see here is the shorter wire is normally it's going to have to come from the neck pickup because it's traveling the furthest, so you're not going to have as much coming out. The longest wire is usually from the bridge, and that's the one sticking out here. So your common deduction is the middle wire is going to be the middle size pickup. So you take the shorter wire, then I bring it over to the actual switch, and I pull it a little bit tight, and I get another little angle here. And what I do is I cut it about ½ inch down. Then you bring it to your terminal, real nice. Just hit it, and there's your neck pickup already installed. So now the wire is ready. Just clean it up, press it back up, and it looks real nice and clean there. So your next wire then is going to be the middle pickup. That's a real nice cleaned up pickguard, and we're ready to install it back into the guitar. So I always bring the pickguard facing me with the potentiometer, so what you're going to actually do is just flip it over like that, so it'll go into the cavity real nice. And you get all your wires here and everything. Again, sometimes you have to retin some of the little wires here, because if you use a solder wick, it'll remove sometimes too much off your connections. And then when you remove your cloth and hold it carefully, make sure your wires are going in the right direction, and carefully place it down, and everything should fit nice and snug. Okay, here we have is a typical Fender Telecaster. This has an Esquire neck on it, and what we're going to do is change the bridge pickup. The strings actually go through the body on this particular guitar, so you need to remove the strings to even get the bridge plate off carefully, So I previously took the strings off, and they come out from the back, so you can see here. One important thing is a tool is having a pair of calipers, because what I like doing is having your notepad, and I like writing down measurements. I'm a measurement fiend. So when you bridge, you got your back plate of your Telecaster, and you got your 3 little saddles on this particular model. Some have 6 individual bridges, but I always like the 3 brass saddles. So what I normally do is take my calipers, and I'll measure right in front of the bridge. I'll measure from the back plate to the front of the bridge, and on this one I have a .7590, and that's the distance from this plate to the actual front of the bridge. This is .8565. So because you take a measurement, because what you're going to need to do to actually remove the 4 screws that are actually under the actual bridge saddles, you need to change the length of the bridge. So what's really important too is when you're working, Always try to put something under the screws so you don't slip off and gouge the actual face of the guitar, you know. And you can move these up probably pretty much even with each other once you see the screw is accessible. We're going to remove the control panel. So there's the exposed plate of a typical Telecaster. This is your tone control, it's your volume control. The number 3 lug is connected to the number 1 lug of the tone control. The number 2 lug of the tone control has a capacitor in series in the center, and then connected to the number 1 lug, which is actually grounded. You could actually take this wire here and ground it to the chassis over here. And then the number 1 lug is connected to ground. So what happens, number 3 lug, it has the connecting wire going to the 1 terminal on this side. This side here is not even used in this particular wiring, how I have it hooked up. What I have is when the switch is in the bridge position, it works the full output from this pickup. When it's in the second position, or middle position, it works the neck pickup. When it's in the full front position over here, it works the first tap of the bridge pickup. So this may be 6K in this position. In the full forward position, it may be 7.3K. In the center, it's like 7.3. Then when you combine them, when it's in the number 2, I'm using a 5-way switch here also. So in the 2 and 4 position, and I'm getting the full output from the bridge pickup and the neck pickup. In the number 4 position, I'm getting the first tap of this pickup and the rhythm pickup. I'm just going to change a little bit variation from this particular pickup, so I'm just going to be changing the bridge pickup. The neck pickup, you remove the pickguard. There's 2 little wood screws holding this pickup down with a piece of rubber grommet surgical spring, which you can use for height adjustment. So on this particular pickup, the yellow wire is the actual tap, and the white wire from the bridge pickup is the actual hot output. Basically, you remove those. Then what you do is you have 1 more wood screw, and I'll take this one out by hand. These are relatively pretty easy to take apart. So then you lift your plate, and then usually you unsolder these and you just pour everything out, and you reverse the process when you're installing the pickup. So that's basically it.